So let's talk about what I think Blackbeard is ultimately going to wind up doing with Law. Because we saw in the previous chapter that they kind of had like round one of their fight, I guess you can say, where, you know, the Heart Pirates surprisingly did really good. Like, none of us were expecting that. We saw Law hit Blackbeard with the K-Room and then hit him with the Shock Will. Awesome sequence, just like what he did to Big Mom.
Yeah.
And then Blackbeard kind of like recuperated, had a little talk with Van Augur. He then activated the Black Vortex, which is like his
His Kurozu.
Yeah, like his nullifying ability. So he's basically going to shut down Law's Devil Fruit at this point, just like what we saw him do to Ace and Whitebeard previously.
Yeah.
And this is probably where, you know, he's going to take round two and probably the rest of the fight at this point. Do you think that that's probably...
Oh, 1000%.
Okay.
Did you see, like, Law looked shocked at the very end of that fight. Like, when his awakened Devil Fruit didn't go through and pierce him, and Blackbeard just caught it, you could tell Law was panicked. And a weird thing about Blackbeard's Kurozu, or however he absorbs Devil Fruits, is that it also negates the impact that was about to hit him as well. Because when he blocked Whitebeard's Goro no Mi, Whitebeard still had a fist behind that, but the fist stopped. Blackbeard was able to catch it. So even if there's a sword behind Law's awakening, I feel like it's just going to get absorbed, or it's just going to have no impact whatsoever. So it's just hard to fight Blackbeard.
But once he, in theory, defeats Law here, he's definitely going to take his Devil Fruit, the Ope Ope no Mi.
No reason not to.
I mean, even though he hasn't advertised it the way that he said that he was going to take Hancock's fruit, pretty sure he's going to take it. And, you know, there's speculation on how he does it. It hasn't been revealed for a reason. It eventually will be. Maybe in this sequence, probably not. Even though we are like so far into the series, it still feels like Oda's not ready.
I feel like they might reveal like a small bit of it because the other crew, the Straw Hat crew, are on Egghead Island, and that's supposedly where we're going to learn about Devil Fruits. Maybe they'll do it in tandem where Vegapunk reveals how Devil Fruits are made, what they're all about, and how they're transferred. And at the same time, we see Blackbeard performing whatever he does at the same time. So it would go like hand in hand in a way.
Yeah.
That's what I would hope.
Oda does do that. So yeah, that would totally work. But once he takes Law's Devil Fruit, I don't think he's going to eat it or consume it himself. Although I do think that Blackbeard will consume another fruit if he hasn't already. Like, he's definitely going to have at least 3 fruits. Like, it would be weird to just
the number
leave it
3
at
is
2.
like everywhere with him.
Yeah, the 3 skulls, and you know, that's a whole rabbit hole for another time. But he's going to give it to somebody else, because I'm assuming that Blackbeard knows about the perpetual youth surgery.
I feel like it's almost advertised to a point. Like, the government was after this fruit. It had a bounty of 5 billion. I feel like it should be common knowledge that Law's fruit is heavily sought after. Even if not for the immortality surgery, it's just a good fruit in general. And with Blackbeard,
it's busted,
it's busted. With Blackbeard being on Whitebeard's ship before all of this, Blackbeard should have the same information in a way as Whitebeard did. And there's no way Yonko didn't know that the Ope Ope no Mi is widely sought after.
Yeah, exactly. And we found this out from Doflamingo. And he knows a lot of stuff, but we just assume he knows a lot of stuff because, like, he's a celestial dragon. He's Joker. He you know, he has a lot of connections. But I mean, he even knows stuff that the audience doesn't even know, like the treasure of Marijois. But I think that Blackbeard probably knows it because he knows a lot of things. Like, he clearly knows about putting her third eye being able to unlock the voice of all things. That's why he captured her. I'm sure we're going to talk about that in your video.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have somebody else consume the fruit. Now, I don't necessarily think that he's going to have somebody on his crew do it, because you have to give your life in order to use that ability. He might have somebody from Law's crew, like, forcibly do it, or, I don't know, just some random person is going to have it, and then he somehow is going to force them to activate the perpetual youth surgery on himself. And then once that happens, I'm pretty sure he's going to get like the eyes, like the Mihawk eyes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of theories about that.
Exactly. And I think that, like, once he gets that will be like the confirmation that, like, all those other characters also have had the perpetual youth surgery performed on them. So it's like Imu, Mihawk, Zunisha, and Hakuba for some reason. Yeah. And I think that would just be an amazing way for that to get across.
It would be a really good reveal. And going back to, like, who would do the youth surgery, I would love it if Law was the one who actually performed it as well.
Oh, that would would be
And I know it's hard to like picture Law being like, okay, Blackbeard, time to give you, you know, immortality. But Law is a captain first and foremost. And if Law witnesses his entire crew being destroyed, they're about to die, and Blackbeard is like, okay, well, you have to choose. Like, you either die with them or I'll let them go and you just have to perform the surgery. Like, I feel like Law might bend the knee because in a way Law is like a parallel to Luffy, right? Like, Law loves his crew. Even in Wano, he mentioned how he didn't believe that Beppo or the others would ever rat out on the plan, which ended up being true. He trusted his crew, and like Beppo, as much as a lot of people make fun of Beppo and Jean Bart, that's his Sanji and Zoro. So like if Luffy was in the same scenario, I could see Luffy sacrificing himself, and if Blackbeard holds them hostage like Blackbeard probably would since he's a bad guy, I could see Law maybe doing it himself. And also, whoever does the surgery needs medical knowledge, and there's not a lot of people out there in the world that could do that even.
Yeah, I was also wondering about that. Like, how do they know how to activate that aspect of it? But
what do you stab?
Yeah, what do you stab? Like, what do you think about it? But now that you bring up Law giving his own life, like, I wasn't even thinking about that because I just assumed that he would take Law's fruit and then Law would just go into the rest of the series fruitless rather than just being dead. But wow, him dying and sacrificing himself for this crew, now that you bring it up, seems very possible. And also, you know, what you mentioned about him being loyal and him totally being capable of that, it would kind of parallel to Corazon saving him.
Yeah.
Because Corazon obviously gave his own life so that Law could live. And then maybe he would think about that and be like, you know, Corazon did it for me, so I'm going to do it for them. And
he gives back.
Exactly. Blackbeard is also very capable of just being like, hey, I'm going to kill your whole crew if you don't do this. And it's like he's in this inescapable, impossible situation, and he just does it. Man, that, as much as I don't want that to happen, it's so good writing.
It is good writing. And also, like, there's no way out of this fight. Like, unless somebody shows up right here and right now to stop Blackbeard, like, they can't get away. Law can't teleport because Van Augur would follow him. The crew can't go underwater because Blackbeard has been shown to be able to crack the water. Yeah. Like, there's no way out of this fight. And even though things were looking good in this latest chapter, we ended off on a bad note for Law's crew. The minute Blackbeard starts using the Yami Yami no Mi, it's like, it's game over. That is how it's always been turned. In the very beginning, Whitebeard was overpowering Blackbeard. Ace was overpowering Blackbeard as well. Magellan, you know, poisoned Blackbeard. And then round 2 is where Blackbeard finally shines, and that's what's happening. So it's not looking good.
This is like, because Blackbeard is kind of like the anti-MC. So he's not going to have like the dominating fights. He's going to get messed up like the MC, but then ultimately come back. Yeah, this is all kind of playing out like that, isn't it?